Hi, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to TFT, Tarot for Today, Divine Dabblings with
Mr. O.
me, Banshee. Welcome to the show.
What
It's time
shows?
for our monthly modality message, which is about the modalities of the Zodiac.
It's our unique astrological and tarot reading where we combine tarot cards with your astrological modality. Basically, there are 3 of them that cover all of the 12 signs, and they are cardinal, fixed, and mutable. We go through those readings, and there's the same several card pulls for that.
Whew, that light over there. All right. Let's get on with it. Who's first, Mr. O?
It's, of course, the cardinals.
You betcha. The cardinal signs, which are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn.
And what can you tell us about the cardinal signs?
Well, I'm shuffling. Why don't you expound upon our positives?
And done. Positives. They are the initiators. They get things started. They are active, quick, drive, ambitious, vim and vigor, enthusiastic, a zest for life, clever, and they want to win.
We are not slackers, that's for sure. But the negatives, there's just a few things. I mean, we can be too domineering. We can be self-centered. We can forget about others, they say, as we focus on our own stuff. But I will admit to the last one, we often don't finish what we start.
And I'll throw in another one too, which I find to be true, and that is that they're not really always interested in constant improvement. They want to keep doing the same things over and over instead of trying something new.
Oh my gosh, we're initiators. Ignore. It says here, initiators, getting things started.
Then when things need to be improved, which is really a different concept, you should be for them or no?
Why fix what isn't broken?
That's
our motto.
That's your opinion.
That's our motto. That's my motto anyway. I don't think it's modalities. Okay, let's get started. Card 1, the primary focus for the cardinal signs for the month ahead. And by the way, if we haven't mentioned it, happy birthday, Sagittarians. This is your season. And so this reading is good for the entire Sagittarius season. All right, so the primary focus is going to be the 4 of Cups reversed. So it's interesting. The 4 of Cups reversed. Well, our focus might be on why we haven't figured out how to get, why we missed an opportunity that came our way. What was wrong with us that we let it pass us by? Good opportunities. It seems as though we just weren't ready. We, maybe perhaps it's because we're just too busy now.
Sorry, Shadow is picking away at the...
No, it's all right. You don't have to explain to our audience.
I do. So to me, when I look at the 4 of Cups reversed, it actually looks like maybe, what does that mean again? The primary focus is really about making a decision after you've been thinking about something for a while. It's sort of like, you've gathered the information or you processed in some way, and now you are ready, to make that decision that you need to make.
Okay, well, we'll go back and revisit that, I think. The role your interactions with others may play in the month ahead, cardinal signs. And it's a 6 of Swords reversed. It's really interesting to me, considering what I felt about the first card here. And I don't always say that about the 4 of Cups reversed, that it's about an opportunity missed, but sometimes I feel that card can be. And this card is indicating that For example, if this opportunity had something to do with your interpersonal relationships, maybe love or romance, it seems like things are now stagnating there this month. Things just seem to be going nowhere. Maybe you can't connect up with your friends. Maybe you're hoping to, you know, get a hot date or, ask somebody out on a hot date, but, you procrastinated and they're going out with someone else.
Your role with others may have some kind of interesting, push-pull kind of feelings going on there. You may be feeling inclined to not necessarily move away from a particular situation with others right now. Maybe you're hanging on to either a bad memory or something that just doesn't feel right, but you don't feel like you can move to the other part of it. Maybe you feel it has to be resolved. Something isn't quite right, and your role with others makes you feel like you're not ready to move ahead.
Yeah, there's just something's not moving forward. So, what about the opportunities or challenges the cardinal signs may face in the month ahead, and how best to achieve or tackle them? Oh, It's the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands is reversed. So I think here there is a challenge this month in in trying to release your burdens. In other words, maybe you've been overworked. Maybe you've been spending too much time on the job at the expense of your interpersonal area in your life. And this is why, I think the challenge is you need to lighten up on yourself. It's very clear this card is about lightening up on yourself. And so you need to lighten your load a little bit, get some help, or don't work long hours, kind of reject the overtime once in a while. How about that?
Maybe what you are processing with the Four of Cups reversed manifests in the sense that you realize there are some things you can, obligations or certain things that trouble you that you can give up in order to maybe focus on better opportunities. So this may be saying that to find the opportunities that you've been looking for, that you might have not quite realized with card one, you have to kind of get rid of the wasteful stuff and maybe focus on what's necessary. Some of the things you feel obliged to may not be as necessary, at least right now.
So how can you use your modality superpowers to best advantage this month? Well, it's the Princess of Cups reversed. How can you use your modality superpowers? Well, I'll tell you one way, cardinal signs, is to next time don't procrastinate. Get things started. The Princess of Cups is about, initiating stuff. I think pages in general are about that. I think here, this really smacks to me, looking at the beginning and the end as being cups. I just have this feel this has something to do with an emotional situation. So maybe next time, get things started, especially in terms of relationships here. Don't be afraid to ask that person. Don't shy away from asking that person out for coffee. You don't have to, it's not that forward. Like, for example, if you're afraid of, norms that maybe you shouldn't ask the person out, you should wait to be asked out. If you're just going for coffee, that's an in, that's an opening. Don't be afraid to do that.
So maybe your superpower is presenting as a shyer person in order to, beguile, somebody in a potential kind of, emotional situation. I sort of feel that the idea maybe with the reversed Princess or Page of Cups is that they're not always as confident of themselves, but they shouldn't necessarily be that way. They maybe have more going for themselves than they realize. And so some of this is about maybe cutting themselves a little slack, and maybe that's a potential superpower that they could have.
I kind of like that too, but I'm wondering too if maybe, okay, this missed opportunity, if it's romantic oriented, if maybe they didn't trust their gut. They were afraid to to move because they couldn't
Yeah, I can kind of
trust their gut on that it was the right time to ask this person out or to get something started or to check out somebody for a relationship, and then the opportunity is gone. So I don't know, if we recap this, let's take a look at this. And the Four of Cups to me reversed is just saying you missed out on something and you weren't prepared or you weren't ready for it, or maybe you were shy, and it possibly has to do with a relationship. It may be something else, but I'm kind of leaning that way. What do you
Well, and to me, conversely, I sort of feel like maybe, you know, what this is about is that you did finally decide to do something.
Okay. And then the interactions with others, what role will they play? There isn't any.
Yeah, there's
In my
nothing going on
opinion.
here, really.
In my opinion, there isn't any role. They just it seems like you can't connect with people. So, you know, if we're talking too about the person that I said you were interested in here, there's no connection. It just flatlined. It's stagnated.
You're not brave or bold enough to kind of make a step here. And that kind of plays into what we see at the end, too.
Right. And the challenge that you face is that maybe you're just worn out. Maybe you're tired. Maybe you're drained. You know, you've been working too hard and you just weren't ready for this situation that kind of came out of the blue and you couldn't capitalize on it.
And my feeling was you need to clear away useless, you know, things that maybe don't really have as much meaning, obligations that you could discard because they're not really that important anymore. Maybe things have changed. But either way, I guess it's about the same.
And so how can you use your modality superpower? Well, number one, you've got to trust your gut and just go. You know, you're supposed to be the initiators. So, you know, don't be afraid to initiate, especially where matters of the heart are concerned.
All right.
I keep looking at this camera and not that one. It's just my bad. So, but that's what I mean. That's what you need to do. Anything you want to add?
So that was it.
Okay.
No, I'm good. That was it for the Cardinals.
Well, let's move on to those darn fixed signs.
We'll fix your wagon. We'll fix it.
They are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. And their positives are, supposedly, that they are steadfast, stable, determined, resolute, self-reliant. They forge ahead, calmly work on objectives, and they remember those who've helped them. They persist, they concentrate. They're powerful, yet purposeful. No wasted motions with these guys.
Scorpio is one of those, and they don't remember who has wronged them.
They don't remember who has wronged them?
They don't forget who is wrong. You knew I did that. Alrighty, so other negatives are stubborn, my way or the highway thinking, tendency to get stuck in their ways, you know, little things like constantly improving, and believing they are always right.
Believing they are always right.
We just want to improve, and somehow somebody doesn't let us.
They're always right. All right. Pick them up, Mr. O. All right. All right. Why don't you tell us the first position?
Well, once again, that first card is the primary focus of the month for the fixed signs.
Well, look at you. All this energy to burn, you fixed signs.
What is that?
You have the Eight of Wands upright.
So indeed, the primary focus is maybe expansion in a way, is maybe quickly determining how you can get to your target, what you need to do to project whatever energies you do, whether it's, you know, a hard power or a soft power. Maybe you're just strategizing, but you need to stay on focus.
Well, you know, fixed signs, sometimes during this period of the season of Sagittarius, Mercury is going to go direct again. And I feel here you're going to be more able to make connections during this time period, fixed signs. And I feel here that You'll be able to connect with people, important people, if they're, if this is a business related reading, we'll see how this turns out. Or, even in matters of the heart, there may be invitations, there may be dates happening. There's definitely some connection and a lot of activity going on for you this month.
So your role with others, what kind of role will that play in the month ahead too?
Well, whew, it's the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords is up.
You go chasing rabbits.
Well, I think here that with the Seven of Swords, you are thinking something is going to get exposed. There's going to be gossip there. Well, there's going to be gossip. Something needs to get exposed. I'm going to put it that way because it is upright, not reversed. I think something needs to be exposed here. There's lots of rumors. There's lots of gossip going on. So I'm wondering about this connection stuff here, because now it seems as though everybody's gossiping or talking about something. Something needs to come out in the open. And maybe you're going to have to play it a little bit like a spy in order to get to the bottom of things.
Yes, so this is well suited for Scorpios and the others perhaps, because it is their nature to want to figure out certain things, and so that may be what your role is. All of you guys there is trying to use, your cunning, your ability to instinct or intuition, figure out, what's going on and how it affects that group dynamic, because it probably will.
And make sure your actions and activities are on the up and up this week. This month, I'm sorry. Be very wary of, what kind of gossip you get into or how you spread it or how it could affect you professionally. If somebody catches you, speaking company secrets, corporate secrets, or something like that, or friends catch you telling tales about themselves. All right.
Card 3, opportunities or challenges you may face in this month ahead.
Well, right up Palooza so far, you've got the Six of Cups. Upright.
Nice.
Well, there's an opportunity here potentially to reconnect with somebody or something from your past. I think it's an opportunity. I think it's positive. I think it's maybe somebody, either, like, for example, if it's an interpersonal situation, maybe that you were friends with from your childhood or from your past, a reunion of some sort with family or friends, or maybe an old business associate.
Well, this is the time of the year where we do turn to holiday feelings, and a lot of times people do try to reconnect. In some cases, it's those kind of Miracle on 34th Street situations where maybe family members have not seen each other, let alone talked to each other in a long time. This could be saying this is a kind of opportunity for people to reach across whatever has been kind of holding them back from the past, and reinvigorate and renew that relationship.
I like that. All right.
Finally, how are you going to use your modality superpowers, fixed signs?
Oh, for crying out loud. In a scorpionic manner. No, it's the Tower. The Tower. Wow.
Well,
I'm going to let you go on that one.
It's a Scorpio's nature to kind of die and be reborn again. And the Tower, and I have been seeing most of these cards more in the Scorpio stance rather than the overall fixed stance. But we have to consider that Mercury is going retrograde in the sign of Scorpio. And so that does add that kind of mental energy there for everyone, but certainly for maybe the fixed signs in this regard, is you may feel that some things, in order to to save the village, it became necessary to destroy it, was a saying during Vietnam. And so the idea is that maybe you may find things are very far gone and you might have to really start from scratch. It's important for the fixed signs to remember important lessons from whatever this process takes or leads you to.
I think this month that any crisis that develops, either with relationships or on the job, you are going to remain stable, steadfast, balanced, and work your way through the crisis. I sense that being that this is the last card here, that something is going to happen this month. Maybe it has to do with this gossipy situation here. And I am wondering if it's a workplace thing. You know, so many people at the end of the year end up losing jobs. Companies cut back. There are layoffs. There's many. As a matter of fact, there's been just a slew of layoffs going on in the country right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of you fixed signs are going to be going through that. And so you will, the good news is you will recover. You will recover. The Tower is here in its better aspect. And I feel here that you'll be able to rebound from this. You'll take the lessons you've learned and rebound. Let's read this again because this is an interesting read for the fixed signs, I think. Your primary focus is about connecting with others and
focusing on targets.
Focusing on targets, which may, of course, have to do with that at the end, too.
So there's expansion or growth.
There is expansion or growth, or the sense of maybe finding support through your connections. And I think here, too, with the Seven of Swords, that's kind of interesting. I feel like something's hidden and everybody's going to be kind of working together to try to figure out what's going on. I think, you know, you and your connections and colleagues, I'm really feeling something workplace oriented here.
You, the fixed sign, will be the one kind of leading that or helping people move into that.
Well, you could be getting involved in somebody else's drama. I can't rule that out. But I feel here that this drama probably encompasses all of you. And then, okay, so this leads me to wonder here, the opportunity or challenge for you guys. I get the feeling that maybe if I'm feeling that some of you are going to be losing your jobs and employment, this could indicate that maybe you'll be able to hook up with some place you worked at before.
What's that card?
It's the Six of Cups.
Okay. Oh, yep, there it is. It's hard to see a little bit.
Yeah.
So, right, it could very well be that you'll have to connect with, you know, something else from before in certain ways. Maybe it's about, you know, the holidays again, but maybe it's also about, you know, keeping abreast of where changes may take you and what you need to be prepared for.
And so how can you use your modality superpowers to benefit you? Well, I think it's pretty clear here. Something is going down and you're all trying to get to the bottom of it. And it's likely by the end of Sagittarius season, you know, or sometime during this season, something's going to come to a head and come crashing down. And I think here that you fixed signs will be the calm people in the room. You'll be able to try to calm other people down. You'll be able to balance yourself and be steadfast and work through whatever crisis is happening here.
You'll more likely be able to pick up some of the pieces and figure out where everyone needs to go afterwards.
Wow.
Right.
Interesting read for you fixed signs. Not going to say it's easy. Good luck with that.
And of course, once again, it could be the astrology that's going on. There's so much moving parts at this time with retrogrades happening hither and yon. We are now on the mutables.
You're on the mutables. The mutables are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. They have a lot of positivity here. They go with the flow. They're adaptable. They're flexible and versatile. They are highly resourceful. They can change when necessary. They are like the chameleons of the Zodiac. They're well liked by others. They enjoy learning, playing fair. They're diplomatic, they're sharp, and sympathetic. They can see below the surface of things, and they're quick to help others.
And of course, their negatives are not great compared to those positives, but they try too hard to please everyone sometimes, and they can be wishy-washy or seem inconsistent, or at the worst, downright duplicitous. But they often end up just stretching themselves to the breaking point, and that's not good for anyone.
No, it's not. Mutables don't do that. Right.
Card 1, the primary focus for the mutables.
Well, it's the Two of Wands upright. A nice card for you mutables. The twos are very balanced. That's why I'm saying that, and you guys are. And so I think here, the primary focus is maybe doing something new, something adventurous, something exciting. Perhaps some of you are traveling for the holidays. I can see that too with this card. It's kind of, if not a wanderlust, maybe there's a you know, a longing to reconnect with family or friends, people, you know, because it's the holiday season, right?
Hey, maybe you want to learn new recipes for the holidays.
Yes, experiment
There's
with
a
something
whole
new.
new world out there, and maybe part of it involves trying different things in any medium you happen to be in. So yes, certainly travel could be indicated, but also maybe exploring, you know, parts of your downtown you've never been to, going to a museum, or just in other ways expanding your consciousness, I suppose.
I like that.
Card 2.
Kurt.
What role will you play in your interactions with others?
Well, it's the Emperor card. Looks like your interactions with others, you control the flow. Maybe you're going to be directing some activity. Maybe if it's a family gathering, for example, you know, you're going to organize it and, you know, delegate things to people. You bring the turkey, you you bring the pumpkin pie, you know?
Yeah, I think mutables, you know, maybe sometimes within a family situation, they tend to be the ones that try to bring the family together. And for the holidays, there's no better or maybe possibly worst task than trying to do that when you consider all the things, you know, people who live far away and maybe have to have a place to stay if they're traveling a distance, or whether or not there are just certain accommodations that need to be made, dietary, religious, or even the dreaded conversation aspect of Thanksgiving.
So we can look at other aspects to this reading when we recap, but yeah, I'm just going to say that no matter what it is, you will probably be controlling the flow. You know, you're not only just going to go with the flow, which is your, excuse me, which is your superpower, but you're going to control the flow.
And you just need to rely upon the people that you normally work with in this kind of thing.
All right, next.
Opportunities or challenges you can face in this month ahead.
Wow, and it's the King of Wands. That is nice.
And they're upright.
Well, you have an opportunity to really shine here. You know, that people will look at you in a positive way. You know, you're going to be at your best. You're either your holiday festive best or, you know, whatever. Don't be afraid to dress up for the season. Wear those obnoxious Christmas sweaters with charm. You're going to wow and charm people, basically.
So much of the holiday season takes place during the season of Sagittarius that it's hard not to see, you know, people in Sagittarius, let alone, you know, affected by that modality, not being very involved in it. And I think that's what this card represents. There's a sense of being magnanimous. There's a sense of being charming, charismatic. The mutables are going to try to corner the market on that because in addition to what the other cards say, being, you know, a host of parties or situations, they just really want to do what's right and look the best while doing it.
Okay, and so finally,
your superpower. How will it help you in this month ahead?
well, how ironic that. We got a repeat card, and it's the Princess of Cups again in the same spot she was before, reversed. Well, that's interesting to me. I feel here that you might be spending this period empathizing a little bit with others, getting too involved. You're trying to please others or make others feel good. So these are your modality anti-powers, I think, at play here. So just be aware of that. Your superpowers are to go with the flow and try to be adaptable and flexible and sympathetic to others, but that doesn't mean you have to let, their problems and issues overwhelm you and that you're stretched to the breaking point here, right?
Well, it could be too that another aspect of your superpower is to just kind of let, the things that happen unbidden during this time of year happen and let them roll off of you. A lot of times people feel they open themselves up for expectations one way or the other about how this period of time should unfold. Some of that, may be useful, but maybe you might want to teach yourself to let it roll off of you and not to necessarily make an emotional impact on you unless it really needs to happen.
So let's kind of recap this again, and I'm going to broaden it out a little bit here. The Two of Wands is basically saying your primary focus is to think outside the box and do something new, explore, experiment, take a trip, visit family, whatever the case may be. This is to explore something new. Maybe even you're thinking of changing career or job. Whatever the case may be, maybe it's time to really do something different. And so your interactions with others, you're going to be kind of controlling the flow. You're going to be controlling, you're the one who probably is likely going to contact people, get in touch with people, possibly delegate things to people if you're, a boss at work or a manager or a team leader.
And it's useful to realize that you don't have to do it all yourself. You can rely on some other people. If it's about taking credit, be magnanimous, share the credit.
And your opportunities or challenges, well, you got a great opportunity to shine this month, to really show your stuff, to really be bold, and to garner attention.
There's a nobility about this time of year, because we are moving towards the ultimate darkness from which the sun will be reborn. And so I think, the King of Wands is a good sense of waiting for that moment of light to return.
And the other thing is that, we have the emperor here, we have a king here. And so I really think this is highlighting leadership, leading the way on something. And, that seems to be, a theme here as well. And then finally, I just have to say that, you can use your modalities superpower to a negative extent in that you're too overly sympathetic to other people's needs, overly empathic, and maybe you're going to find a little bit of that overwhelming. So what you need to do is find a way to just go with the flow, try to listen to others and help others without becoming, allowing them to become codependent on you.
Remember, some of this is dictated by Mercury retrograde right now, so things will even out probably even by the end of this modality. And then you could look at the next modality as being or the next season as being, much less encumbered.
Yeah.
We hope.
Well, that's what we have for you, and that's what we have for everybody this season. So I just want to say again, happy birthday,
Sagittarians,
to our Sagittarian friends. Have a great season, and happy holidays to everybody. Enjoy the season. Hope you have a great time, and we will see you next when the sun enters the sign of Capricorn.
I knew she couldn't wait for that.
That's right. Take care, everybody. Have a great Sagittarius season. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.